So, continuing our discussion on other topics, like one of the questions that we come across all the time is why eVital does not auto-save when the billing is going on, right? So, sometimes the argument is that, or the question is that, if I'm working on a bill that is taking me a long time, and let's say I, by mistake, close down my computer or a tab, or I lose my internet, why the bills, whatever progress I had made, why it's not saved already. And the reason is that a couple of things. One is it's a performance issue, right? So when you start making a bill and if you constantly keep saving it, the whole system would turn out to be very, very slow for everybody. So, of course, this is a very, very rare instance when somebody loses an internet or somebody close down the computer. It doesn't even happen even 1% of the time. And because of that, we have to punish the rest 99% for system being very slow. So that is one reason. Second is when you actually save the bill, there's lots of validations that are going on. And I'll explain what validations mean. Validation means that you have to check few things. For example, do you even have that much stock, or do you have you write down the customer name or a bill number or distributor name or the bill number, things like that. So those validations only occur at the time of saving. Now, if we keep saving your bill all the time in between, those validation will also have to occur. So imagine you start typing a product name, but you forgot to put the bill number in purchase invoice. If we are saving it automatically, it will also give you errors all the time. So because of those validations, we cannot save them all the time. You have to also remember that every time you save a bill, a stock has to be adjusted, or the ledger has to be updated, and so on and so forth. So we cannot do that all the time in between either. That has to be done only one time. So because of the performance issue, because of the validation issue, we cannot do that. Now, what is the counter argument we also have is that for purchase, if you use CSV, it's a very, very quick post process. It takes 30 seconds to upload your CSV and, finish your purchase bill completely. So the idea of losing an internet in the middle of a billing is going to be very rare. It's impossible almost. Um, if you are doing FMCG purchase, well, you can use your mobile phone to create a draft and then you can enter that. So that is also an argument. And the only valid argument is in sales bill if I'm making a sales bill. But sales bills are usually less than 3 items or 4 items at the most. And in that case, even if you lose a bill, it's only 4 items that you have to enter again. And it's not the end of the world. There are customers who enters the 4 items within less than a minute. And that is why we don't really go for this kind of solution. However, we are researching one more option. If we can save those bills in a draft position such that a draft could be retrieved, but it is also not straightforward, and we don't want to create a lot of issues for the people who don't really face this issue because of the reason that only 1%. I don't think it's even 1%. I think it's less than a quarter of a percent. So that is one out of 400, 500 bills. This one time is happening, and we don't want to, really jeopardize our performance issue. One of the things that people love about eVitalRx is how fast the software is, how easy, smoothly it runs. It doesn't take a long time. I've seen a lot of, in fact, almost all the desktop softwares I have seen my whole career are slower than the cloud of eVitalRx. So we don't want to, you know, uh, sacrifice that performance because of this thing. Let's go to the next question. Next question is, why do I have to do the mapping? So it's about catalog and mapping. So for customers who either upload a CSV or they bring the data from the old software, we we ask them to do one-time mapping. In the case of CSV, they actually don't have to do it. If they want to do it, of course, they're more than welcome to do it. But let's say they brought the software, old data software to the new software that is eVitalRx, and we ask them to do one-time mapping. Why do we do that? So, as a customer of eVitalRx, you probably know that eVitalRx uses something we call centralized catalog. So there's only one catalog for everybody. Catalog means item master, medicine master, whatever you want to call it. And so when you come from old software, you might have written packet size inside the name of the medicine itself, or you did not, write in a right spelling or whatever. So we ask you to do one-time catalog mapping. so that you basically transition from the old, you know, non so systematic data or medicine master to very, very systematic and centralized data. So that's one reason. But even why do we even want to do it? The reason we want to do it is once you transport over to the centralized catalog system, you can check alternatives because now we know our catalog. Our catalog, as you probably know, that has API salt composition as well, drug formulation as well. So we can actually suggest you alternatives all the time. If you're using the old data in your old software, we cannot suggest you to do those things. And then other than that, there is also other metadata like images, manufacturer name. So if you want to get manufacturer-wise report, or if you want to get a salt composition-wise report, or if you want to have schedule reports, or at least just images because your staff cannot find something, or those images that could also be shown in the patient application, all those things are possible if you are using the centralized catalog. So if you bring the data from the old software, that is of course not our catalog, and that we don't know. Now a lot of people also ask like, hey, why don't you do mapping yourself, through an algorithm? And yes, we have devised an in-house algorithm. Basically it matches a string of your old medicine name, our catalog name, along with other metadata, for example the packaging and the MRP. The problem uh, we have seen in the past is that we can use it, and we used to use this all the time, but we sort of discouraged it now. We can still use it if you really want it. The problem is there's always a 1% error chances. So if the algorithm maps 100 products of yours, there's always a chance of having one or two errors in it. And when people want to transport to this new system, they're very excited about it, and they all love it. They all want to do it. And then what happens is they feel lazy about mapping this thing. And when we offered this alternative, they always took it. The problem is, no matter how clearly we communicated to them that there is this 1% chance of error, of course, at the time of mapping, they are like, oh, no, no, no problem. 1% that is no big deal. Our staff would also make this kind of mistake. But when they come on board, and when they come across the result, the consequences of this error, 1% error, they used to blame us a lot. And so we sort of decided that, if you are running a serious operation, we would rather have you spend some hour, uh, do this mapping and do it yourself, so that we don't take responsibility for that. Again, like I said, if you are willing to write down as an email, as a confirmation that yes, you do understand the risk, we may be able to help you out through algorithms where we can actually, within 5 minutes, we can map all your products. With the error chances, it's usually 1%, but I would say, just to be on safe side, just assume that 2 or 3% chances that products has made some mistakes. So when you do come across those mistakes, you would actually have to adjust the stock and enter the stock in the right product, all by manual. So the way I think about this whole problem is that, look, we have been dealing with a crappy medicine master all our lives. And if you actually want to move your system, move your software, move everything to a very sophisticated decentralized catalog, I think even if you have to spend, let's say, 5 people sit down, 5 people of your staff members sits down for 3 hours each, that's 15 hours. And then I think within 15 hours, one can easily map about 2 to 3,000 products easily. So it's possible that it might be a better way. There are people who thinks that they would want rather to have algorithm do it, and as and when they come across the errors, they would rather manually adjust the stock. We'll be more than happy to help you out. My recommendation, my strongest recommendation is one-time process only. You don't have to do it again, and I highly recommend that you do it before you start using the new system. Thank you. So the next question is the membership plan. So why can we edit membership? So let's talk about the membership plans for a minute. So one of the feature we introduced, that if you are willing to either run a loyalty program or just a membership plan where you can actually issue a membership card like this to each of your clients, you can create different plans. So for example, if somebody pays us 200 rupees a year, they get 2% extra discount on everything. If somebody pays us 500 rupees a year, they can get 3% extra discount, 5% extra, just like kind of like an Amazon Prime membership, right? I think that promotes a lot of loyalty among the customers to your pharmacy, and I think you can take a lot of advantage of that. Um, and I actually truly believe that this is something to think about, because that kind of loyalty actually brings in a lot more business. Just like, again, Amazon Prime, right? Once you buy Amazon Prime membership, you tend to buy everything, even though you could buy somewhere else, you tend to buy everything from Amazon itself. So I think it's a great feature. I think that's a great way to create a really good marketing plan for your pharmacy. One of the things that we have received some complaints, not complaints, but the suggestions, and we are actually working on something like that, is that why are you not allowing the editing of the membership plans, right? So sorry, I think there's a miscommunication on the slide, but why are we not editing this membership plan? So the way it works is that, let's say you create a plan where a patient pays you 200 rupees for a year, and they receive, 12% on a drugs, 5% on FMCG, 40% on generic products, blah, 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 blah. And then you sold few memberships to some people, right? Dozens of people you sold. And sometimes pharmacy wants to change that membership plan. So details of the membership plan, like, oh, I changed my mind. I don't want to give 10%, sorry, 12% to the drug. I only want to give 10%. Or I don't want to give FMCG 5%. I only want to give 2%. And we don't allow that. We don't let them change that plan. And the reason is very simple, right? Like, as you can imagine, if you committed certain customers that, look, you pay me 200 rupees for 1 year, I'm going to give you these benefits. You cannot go and change that later on, right? It will create a very poor brand for you, and it will create a lot of technical complexity for us. However, there are more plans you can create. So, one of our clients is 3 plans. And in future, one of the things we are going to support is we are going to let you create unlimited number of membership plans. So, for example, let's say you change your mind that you don't want to give 12% on drugs anymore. You only want to give 10%. First of all, you'll have to honor those people that you already sold a plan to for 12%. But let's say you want to stop that now going forward for the new customers. You can create a new plan. You can stop promoting the old one. However, you have to honor them. But the new plan, you can, keep going 10%, 5%, whatever you want to do. So while we still will not allow you to edit the plans, but you can always create new plans. So that's the idea. The idea is not so much that why do we care? It's mostly it looks really bad with the customers, and of course, it creates a lots of technical challenges for us, keeping track of loyalty points and cash, and it used to be a 12% discount. Now the same guy, the same plan, 10%. What if the guy comes back with the old purchase and returns it? Should we get 10%, 12%? It's a lot of an issue like that, and hence we decided that we will not let you edit the plans. However, we are introducing the unlimited number of plans that you can create. The next one is pricing side. Now, this is my favorite one. There are so many different opinions and suggestions that we have received. I think the next slide is also about pricing, so I'll try to match both of them together. But let's actually address the second one first. Why so cheap? Why are you guys selling our data or something? One of the things we have actually thought a lot about and discussed and changed quite a bit as well is what should be the pricing. And one thing we were very clear from day one when we started building the software is we wanted to build eVitalRx for each and every pharmacy of India. And it could be literally a small, really small pharmacy in a really remote town, third tier, fourth tier town in India, or a village rather, that is doing less than 5,000 rupees in terms of revenue every day. Or it could also be one of the largest pharmacies of India, which happens to be a client too. They do 8 to 9 lakhs a day in terms of revenue. It could be also for a chain pharmacy up to 200 locations, 300 locations, 400 locations, and they should be able to afford it. So coming up with the pricing that was accommodating to each and every one, the small pharmacy does not have any staff. It's a one-man show, whereas the larger pharmacy chains will have dozens and dozens of people working in it. So we wanted to come up with a pricing strategy that matches everybody, right? So that was a challenge in itself, but that was our goal. So While it looks cheap to somebody in Mumbai, why it's only 3,500 or 7,000 rupees for that matter, to do all these things, unlimited number of devices I can log in, I can track everything, I can check on mobile, I can create unlimited number of invoices, I can send WhatsApp, I can do this, I can take customers' data online, there's a patient application and everything. While it's very cheap for somebody in Mumbai, it may not necessarily be cheap for somebody who is in a remote town in Gujarat somewhere, or Bihar, or Rajasthan, or UP, or wherever. So, we had to sort of find a middle ground for that. And of course, it goes all the way from a completely free mobile application to 7,000 plus. Even if you are returning a chain, it's like 12,000 per store. And of course, if you have more staff member, you have to pay more. So um, it's, first of all, it's not necessarily cheap for everybody. Yes, it could sound like a cheap to somebody. Also, if you do have larger stores with a larger number of employees or chains, of course, the price tend to be higher than 7,000. It could go to 12,000, could even go up to 20, 30, 40,000 rupees. If you really have, 30 people working in your store. We do have those kind of clients. We have clients with 80 people working in a store, and they pay more than 1 lakh rupees in terms of annual maintenance or subscription charges, if you will. So it's not so much because we want to sell your data or we are selling your data, and that's why it's so cheap. There are other companies like MedBeakly, for example. They were giving away for free for everybody, and it was very obvious that what was the play. And I think everybody knows what was the result. I think they already closed down their operations because of that. So we are trying to create a product that is sustainable, and that is why we actually limited number of staff you could have. You could have 6 staff only in our capsule plan, which you pay 7,000 rupees. So it's not necessarily cheap for everybody. It may sound like it's cheap to you, but it's not. It's I think it's fairly priced at this point. We did struggle in the past a little bit, but again, keep in mind we are not married to certain types of pharmacies only. We are literally catering to each and every type of pharmacy in the country, and that is probably the reason why we are only pharma software company that has clients in each and every single state of India. Literally everything from Jammu and Kashmir to you know uh, Kerala or Goa or Manipur, Meghalaya, all the states, literally each and every state has eVitalRx customers, and we try to come up with a pricing that is suitable for everybody. The other kind of questions that we also get is why do I have to pay this every year? So one thing that sets apart, it's a cloud software, so it's something called SaaS, which stands for Software as a Service. We're not selling you installation, which is what most of the companies do. And the reason being that, one thing we wanted to, this goes back to earlier question that, we wanted to make it accessible to everybody. So imagine a small town pharmacy that has never used the software and they want to get on the software. What are the choices they had before eVitalRx was introduced to them? They had to buy a computer, they had to buy a printer, and then they had to pay for the installation of the software. So this could all together, no matter how cheap a computer and a printer and a software you get, it could easily be more than 50,000 rupees. Then eVitalRx came about, and eVitalRx said, you know what, you don't need a computer. Even if you have a tablet or a smartphone, which almost everybody has these days, you can start billing, and you can start sharing your bill with your patients through a WhatsApp. If you want to try, you can buy 3,000 rupees, 4,000 rupees thermo printer. You can print from your mobile through a Bluetooth on a thermo printer, and you can do that. As opposed to installation prices upfront, 15, 20, 30, 40,000 rupees. What we charge is we charge overtime. And one of the things, that has shocked me, how people don't think about it. If you paid somebody 30,000 rupees for a software, or let's say even if 15,000, something cheap as Mark or something, 15,000 rupees, just a 10% of that in terms of interest cost is about 1,500 rupees. So what they do is they charge you 15,000 upfront, and then they charge you another 2,000 rupees for an AMC, whatever that means, and then plus 1,500 in terms of interest cost. So if you add 2,000 rupees for AMC and 1,500 rupees interest cost that you lost because you had to pay out this 15,000 rupees upfront, that's what, 3,500 rupees. Guess what? That is exactly what you pay for eVital. Not only that, you don't get mobile. You cannot log into more than one computer because it's installed on one computer. You also don't get most of the updates. And even if you get some updates, you have to install and reinstall, which is a headache. So you'll end up not going for it. Whereas in eVital, you get lots and lots and lots and lots of updates. You can, of course, check mobile. There's no limit of how many invoices you can make. And you can, check it from anywhere in the world. You could have two computers, you can run it, doesn't matter. So what we don't offer, by offering this kind of pricing, right, that pay every year is it's sort of like an AMC. It just seems higher because you're not comparing apples to apples. Um, by the way, I'm not even considering the 15,000 rupees compounding effect on interest when considered all those things. And not even the same kind of functionality, right? Nobody is offering you for 15,000 rupees and 2,000 rupees AMC with mobile application available. That's not there. So we're not comparing that, but at the same time, this is the structure we have. And for there are questions that some people also worry that, oh, you are only selling it right now cheaper, but next time when there's a renewal comes, then you're gonna increase the prices. So what they offer us is that, hey, how come I cannot pay you like let's say 50,000 rupees, and it's a lifetime software. That's it. You're not paying anything anymore. Which is sound tempting. I'm not going to lie to you. We have thought about it. The reason we have not done it is because one, that's not our business model. However, we have introduced something similar. If you truly believe that you want to lock in the prices, what you can do is you can buy Vital points in bulk. We also provide a lot of discount on it. The details are on the website. And you can use those Vital points to pay off your subscription, which in a way, it's sort of like a lifetime. So for example, if you bought capsule plan, 7,000 rupees, and if you also bought 35,000 rupees worth of Vital points, you will get, let's say, 20% discount or something on that. So you paid for like 6 years. Anything beyond 6 years, honestly, it's kind of, not that practical because you're not going to give us that kind of money anyway. Uh, in that sense, you are paying lifetime. Now, some people might say, well, yeah, that's good, but then what if you increase the prices every year? In that case, here's what I would say. If you read the contract, there's also a contract that says only 10% can be raised every year. Having said that, we have also learned that I think in terms of pricing, we have found our sweet spot with especially 3,500 and 7,000 plans plus. If you have larger stores or something, you are able to pay for the users, login users, as in your staff members. We do not think that we are going to raise the prices anytime soon, or at least every year, maybe 5%, maybe 10% every other year or something. Practically speaking, I don't think that is, needed. We do provide a lot of add-ons. So as the customer base gets more and more advanced, we tend to provide a lot of add-ons so that if we really want to make extra revenue, like for example, Sai, which is an AI powered, whole machine learning powered help for your pharmacy. Now, to run your pharmacy, you don't really need it if you don't want to do it. Yeah, if you want to have really efficient workflows, very helpful like a manager, then you have to pay extra for Sahai, right? So for the basic product, then you can compare with other functionality and with other software. The price I do not see going up. If you want to send SMS, if you want to say e-way bill, e-voice, deliveries, this, that, everything else, there's other add-ons for that. And hence, we don't believe that we will be increasing the pricing. Like I said, there are other ways to get discounts or deals. We also provide a program where if you refer only 5 capsule plan users other than yourself, you get lifetime software. So that is cool. That is nice. There are customers who have earned it. You can also get discounts by buying Vital Coins in a bulk. You can also receive Vital Coins for any referrals that you do. So there are lots of other ways to get discounts and deals as well. But this is the pricing strategy we stick to. So hopefully this was all helpful for you to get to know us a little more.